Hello Chillify channel, I'm ready. A billionaire offered a huge reward for a wife for his vegetative son, purely for some cruel purpose. My cousin, Lily, who is obsessed with stories of the wealthy elite, heard the news and immediately declared she'd drop out of school to marry the vegetative young master. I couldn't bear to let her ruin her future, so I warned her it was probably a trap. There's no such thing as a free lunch in this world. Taking my advice, she eventually chose to go to university. But later, when Lily graduated and struggled to find a job, her high school roommate, Luna, married the vegetative young master, rising above her class to become a wealthy young mistress, adored by all. Lily blamed me entirely, hating me for destroying her chance to change her life. She stormed into my house and stabbed me to death with a kitchen knife. Now, with the billionaire once again offering a reward for a daughter-in-law, Lily, who has been reborn, comes to threaten me with a knife. This life, I won't let you ruin my wealthy dreams again. I wondered if I could just step aside and let her go. If she wanted to be a rich family's blood bag, I wouldn't stop her. Looking at my vibrant reflection in the mirror, I clenched my fists, finally confirming that I had indeed been reborn. Lily silently approached me, knife in hand, threatening viciously, "Get out of the way now or I'll kill you again." My Aunt Clara and Uncle Robert stood outside the door, looking at me with evasive eyes. I took a step back, handing her the gate key. "Go!" Lily excitedly snatched the key, not forgetting to glare at me before leaving. "This life, I won't let you destroy my dreams of marrying into wealth." Aunt Clara and Uncle Robert frantically signaled me to stop her, but I pretended not to see, turning back to my bed and casually picking up my phone to play. Aunt Clara burst in, furious. "What's wrong with you? Why didn't you try to convince her?" I shook my head. Having lived another life, I want to respect others' destinies. From a young age, Lily was obsessed with novels about dominant CEOs, always believing that one day she would meet a CEO who fell from the sky, fall madly in love, and marry into a wealthy family. In my previous life, when a billionaire suddenly offered a huge reward for a wife for his vegetative son, Lily, mesmerized, thought he was her destined soulmate and wanted to drop out of school to marry him. But at that time, she had just come of age and was about to take her university entrance exams. I couldn't bear to let her sacrifice her future for an illusory dream, so I tried my best to stop her, telling her it could very well be a trap. There's no such thing as a free meal in this world. After much persuasion, Lily finally gave up her fantasy and continued with her university exams. She got into a fairly good university. However, after graduation, she was rejected from every job she applied for. Meanwhile, her high school roommate, Luna, married the vegetative young master and became a wealthy young mistress, admired by everyone. So what if her husband was vegetative? Money was enough. When she saw photos of Luna's lavish parties on social media, Lily completely collapsed. She blamed all her misfortunes on me, hating me for destroying her chance to become a wealthy young mistress. With eyes full of resentment, she stabbed me with a knife. "You useless person, if you can't change your fate, don't drag me down with you. You're dead." She severed my limbs, and I died in excruciating pain. Even now, that bone-chilling pain seems to linger in my body. I truly couldn't understand. From a young age, I had always treated Lily like my own sister, yet she could be so cruel to me. Moreover, Aunt Clara and Uncle Robert knew full well what Lily had done, yet they showed no intention of stopping her. On the contrary, they even said Lily was right to kill me. All because they, too, resented me for obstructing their path to the upper class. Looking at Lily's demeanor just now, it was clear she, like me, had been reborn. Then, seeing Aunt Clara's anxious expression, I immediately understood that she wanted to use me again, wanted me to convince Lily. But this time, I wasn't as foolish as before. I looked at Aunt Clara, my gaze deep and fathomless. "Didn't you always support Lily in pursuing her dreams?" "Support, yes, support." Aunt Clara forced a smile, then stiffly walked into the room. After my parents died, Aunt Clara and Uncle Robert used my minor status to gain guardianship, then moved in with Lily into the house my parents left me. But now I was an adult. I no longer needed a guardian. I would kick all these white-eyed wolves out of my house. Otherwise, I couldn't bear to live in this house for another second. I don't know what methods Lily used, but by evening, Aunt Clara and Uncle Robert surprisingly agreed to let her drop out of school to apply to be a wealthy daughter-in-law. At the dinner table, I wiped my mouth and spoke. "Lily wants to be a wealthy young mistress. We should support her, right? Don't Aunt Clara and Uncle Robert cherish her like a treasure? Then you should go with her and be a blood bag for the rich. Aunt Clara glared at me. But the world of the elite isn't that simple. Even if we're not a suitable match, we can't be too poor. Hearing this, both of them hesitated. After all, they only agreed to let Lily apply because of the fat reward from the Tycoon, who would want to invest their own money. Just as they were arguing, Lily's voice message suddenly played. Mom, Dad, I've investigated thoroughly. That rich family is super, super rich. If I marry the vegetative young master, our days of glory will come. It's just, I see so many people applying, I don't know if they'll choose me. Don't let Hao know any of this or he'll stop me like before. As soon as the message ended, Aunt Clara glanced at me, flustered. I just waved my hand, not taking offense. Instead, I pulled out my phone and showed them information about the Tycoon. When they saw the enormous sum of his assets, Aunt Clara's eyes widened, and she grabbed my hand, asking conspiratorially, "You've been smart since childhood, Hao. Tell me, how can we help Lily get chosen?" It's very simple. Aunt Clara, you need to look like someone with money. Who wants to do charity? Aunt Clara frowned. For years, we've lived off your parents' inheritance. No one has worked. Where will we get money now? No problem. Aunt Clara, look, this website offers temporary loans. Rent a luxurious villa, buy some designer clothes for Aunt Clara and Uncle Robert. Once Lily marries into the rich family, you'll have anything you want. Just then, Lily messaged again. Mom, don't drag me down. I heard them asking for family information. Aunt Clara gritted her teeth, slapped her thigh, and decided to take a gamble for her daughter. That afternoon, they took all their money to rent a villa, buy luxury cars and designer clothes, pretending to be wealthy. When Lily found out, she joyfully hugged Aunt Clara, spinning around, imagining herself as a wealthy young mistress. I watched the scene with amusement. The rich value family background greatly. Even with a vegetative son, countless people would throw themselves at that family's wealth. Those people might look brilliant on the outside, but they are unimaginably rotten inside, forced to publicly seek a wife like this. It only proves how repulsive that family is, so much so that no one dares to get involved. Lily had never met the vegetative young master. All her knowledge came from advertisements and a few photos posted by her roommate. If she were smart, she would realize that she was actually the only real applicant. Everyone else was arranged by the rich family to create a false spectacle. All application procedures were a deception, merely to make it appear trustworthy and lure others into the trap. I knew all this from my previous life, accidentally learning it from Lily's roommate, Luna. She once asked me, if all the blood in a person's body is replaced by someone else's, is that person still themselves? At that time, I was frightened by her expression, a vague feeling that I had missed something important. But now, those things no longer mattered. The most important thing was that my house was finally free of those white-eyed wolves, and the nightmare for Lily's family had officially begun. I hadn't expected Lily to be so determined to marry into wealth. She had never been good at studying since she was little. Yet, to increase her competitiveness, she enrolled in nursing, even dragging Aunt Clara and Uncle Robert along to study with her. We must show our determination so the Tycoon sees our value. Besides, the novels say the same thing, only sincere hearts can move a dominant CEO. She spoke with powerful conviction, but Aunt Clara and Uncle Robert were so exhausted they couldn't even lift their arms. Not to mention they were middle-aged and their minds couldn't keep up. Patient care also required practical skills. Every day they had to face all sorts of patient waste in the sick room, physically and mentally drained. They were living in a villa, thinking they would lead a lavish life, only to find themselves working as nurses, always busy and disheveled. This psychological disparity made them extremely resentful. But Lily declared, "Mom, they say a good son-in-law is half a son. You too must treat him like your own child. Think about it, a lady who's lived a life of luxury since childhood, willing to endure such hardship for a vegetative CEO, how could the CEO not be moved? By then, wouldn't you and Dad have everything you wished for?" Finally, Aunt Clara and Uncle Robert were convinced by Lily's twisted logic. At night, they were wealthy people in a villa, dressed in designer clothes. By day, they were struggling interns in the sick room. After completing the procedures to defer her studies, Lily dedicated all her energy to her dream of becoming a wealthy young mistress. Before leaving, she even provocatively boasted to her roommate, Luna, "This time, I won't let you steal my opportunity again." Aunt Clara also boasted about her daughter's bright future, saying they were about to rise to the upper class and become truly wealthy thanks to her. Looking at Lily's daily social media posts, I just wanted to laugh. Would such a huge tycoon really lack a few nurses? She was truly offering herself up as a laughingstock, a typical example of no pain, no gain. I am 3 years older than Lily and now preparing for my postgraduate defense. In my previous life, to stop Lily from pursuing this whimsical dream, I stayed home day and night watching over her, advising her, and as a result, I missed my defense. This life, I won't be that foolish again. Managing my own life is the most important thing. Not only that, I brazenly went to Aunt Clara and Uncle Robert's house to freeload. Whenever they showed displeasure, I immediately said, "I'm your nephew, you're about to be rich, what's one meal?" After learning to be brazen, life became much more pleasant. Every day, Lily boasted about marrying the tycoon's heir, but the rich family remained silent. Aunt Clara and Uncle Robert, to help Lily pursue her dream, not only took out huge high-interest loans but also grew emaciated from working at the nursing home every day. A month passed, and creditors came knocking. Aunt Clara anxiously grabbed Lily's hand and asked, "What did the rich family say? Were you chosen? When will we get the money?" Lily frowned, pulling her hand away from Aunt Clara. "Mom, stop talking about money all the time. The CEO and I need to have love first, then we'll talk about money. If they hear about these things, will I still have a chance? Be patient a little longer, and they'll see my sincerity. Good days will come soon." "Mom," Uncle Robert was blocked by creditors right at the door, clutching his head, enduring blows with extreme humiliation. He thought his beloved daughter would comfort him a little, but Lily only glanced at him and snapped, "Go change your clothes quickly." Uncle Robert sulked. I, who had been sitting outside watching the drama, quickly ran in to mediate. "Don't be angry, Uncle. Lily is also doing this for your future. Endure a little more, and good days are coming soon." I didn't expect to actually speak up for her. Lily turned to look at me suspiciously, but quickly turned her head, snorting coldly. "Of course, I have to help. Otherwise, who will help me punish her?" Finally, news about the tycoon's daughter-in-law selection emerged. The list of candidates will be announced in 3 days. Lily was trembling with excitement, thinking that good days were near. On the day the list was announced, Lily swept everything off the table, sending items crashing to the floor. "No way!" She stared at the list again, gritting her teeth with bitter resentment. "Why? I did so much to get on this list, and that B*TCH Luna didn't even apply. How could she be chosen with me?" Indeed, the tycoon had announced the list of daughter-in-law candidates, but there were 2 names on it. One was my cousin, Lily, and the other was her roommate, Luna, the one who had married into wealth in my previous life. In my previous life, Luna had married into the rich family much later than now. Yet, this time it happened so early. Perhaps it was the butterfly effect of rebirth. My cousin was still muttering curses, staring resentfully at Luna's photo. That B*TCH clearly said she wanted to focus on her studies and wouldn't apply, but now she dares to trick me? I'll kill her to vent my anger. I looked at her frantic demeanor and couldn't help but frown. In my previous life, I had accidentally met Luna again. She looked very miserable, her eyes lifeless. She was clearly covered in designer brands, but showed no sign of happiness. I thought she wasn't the type of person to sell herself for money. Now she was chosen earlier than in my previous life. Was this her intention, or did they have another plan? While I was still wondering, a girl with a bloodied face ran to my door, desperately pounding on it. "Please save me." I was surprised that Luna came to me first. I flinched but still opened the door. "Save me? They're going to turn me into a blood bag. I don't want to die. Please save me." Luna trembled all over, clutching my hand. Her feet were bare and covered in blood. I quickly gave her a shower, found her clean clothes to change into, then took out the first aid kit to bandage her wounds. "What did you mean by blood bag? How do you know something is wrong with this situation?" Luna calmed down, then suddenly smiled and asked me, "Everyone says the tycoon is looking for a wife for his vegetative son, but has anyone ever seen that son?" I recalled my unexpected meeting with her in my previous life and what she had once told me, and I couldn't help but shudder. "What are you trying to say?" "There's a rumor that transfusing young blood into one's body can make a person immortal and youthful again. Look at this tycoon's recent photos. He's over 60, but looks only in his 30s. Luna showed me a recent photo of the tycoon at an event. He has 5 sons, even his illegitimate children have their own homes. The son who became vegetative this time is just one of those illegitimate children. Do you think he suddenly developed paternal love, only for this one disabled child? I shuddered. Indeed, it's impossible. In the eyes of such people, children are nothing more than strangers. Moreover, this isn't the first time he's performed blood purification. It's just that before, he always chose from within his circle, but now he's openly searching in society. Luna whispered, giving me goosebumps. Before, no one knew about those blood purifications. Now it's so public, which means they haven't found anyone anymore. Now they urgently need a new blood bag and a decoy to maintain the scam. The truth gradually became clear. Luna no longer concealed anything, speaking everything outright. Yes, that Tycoon uses young people's blood to maintain his youth. That vegetative son is actually a test subject, but unexpectedly, an accident occurred during the experiment. Perhaps he died or truly became vegetative and was hidden away. Once blood transfusions begin, they cannot stop. Fresh blood is needed every so often. This is the Tycoon's human hunt. My heart constricted as I listened. After a long moment of silence, I spoke. "Why did you come to me for help?" Luna looked directly into my eyes, neither humble nor arrogant. "When your cousin filed for academic deferment, I had a dream. I dreamed of what happened in our previous life. At the end of that dream, I came to you for help." Luna was very thin, her uniform hanging loosely on her. I looked at her arm, there was a small needle mark. What surprised me was that despite Luna's thinness, her muscles were clearly defined. She didn't look weak at all. My parents forced me to participate in the selection. They've already taken my blood. The Tycoon even complimented my blood, but I was unwilling, so I escaped in the night. The situation seemed very dangerous. If this was true, the Tycoon clearly favored Luna's blood. Even if she refused the marriage, he could use other means to capture her. Only by making him completely give up on Luna and focus all his attention on my cousin can Luna be temporarily safe. Speak of the devil and he shall appear. Luna's phone suddenly rang. On the other end was my cousin Lily's voice. "I'm telling you, Luna, don't you dare dream. The position of wealthy young mistress is definitely mine." Luna rolled her eyes, her face full of frustration. Yours, it's all yours, so sick that you're rushing to your death." With that, she decisively hung up. A thought immediately flashed in my mind. If Lily valued the position of wealthy young mistress so much, why not let her rush into their house herself and turn raw rice into cooked rice? When the Tycoon grew suspicious, whether Lily knew the truth or not, he would choose her as his daughter-in-law to cover up his secret. That way, Luna would be safe for a while. No sooner said than done. I immediately called Aunt Clara. "Aunt Clara, I have a great idea to help Lily eliminate her rival and secure the position of wealthy young mistress." After hearing what I said, that very day, Lily used the excuse of showing her loyalty and went alone to the Tycoon's mansion for a visit. Very quickly, she did exactly as I had told Aunt Clara. Taking advantage of the guard change, she secretly snuck into the villa, asking urgently, "Where is the CEO's room?" Luna, sitting beside me, drew a map and guided me, who was wearing headphones. "Go left, the third room, there's a green plaque on the door." "That's it, I see it." Lily excitedly ran like a bullet. Click, the door opened. Before she could even cheer, she froze, likely seeing a horrifying sight. A cold voice echoed through the phone. "Actually, I originally preferred someone else, but I didn't expect you to be so impatient. So now I can only choose you." The phone dropped to the ground. Contact with Lily was completely lost. I immediately hung up, cold sweat trickling down my spine. Now Lily had been caught red-handed. Would Luna and I be implicated? The Tycoon acted very quickly. Only half an hour later, he sent a message confirming that my cousin was the chosen daughter-in-law. Aunt Clara and Uncle Robert were so overjoyed their hands and feet trembled, repeatedly spreading the news. "Our daughter is about to marry into a rich family." Even when the loan sharks came to their house to demand money, they proudly scoffed. "We're rich now. That little money is nothing." Unexpectedly, the Tycoon didn't send money. Instead, he sent people to pick up Aunt Clara and Uncle Robert. They didn't suspect a thing and happily followed. Before leaving, Aunt Clara even called me. How, don't contact us anymore from now on. After all, our statuses are different. Poor people like you will lower our class." I just laughed coldly. "Out of respect for the years you raised me, here's one last piece of advice. If you get off the car now, at least you'll save your lives." "Stop talking nonsense. Are you jealous of us?" Uncle Robert hung up and quickly blocked my number. "Well, I'll respect others' destinies then. I remembered that my cousin and Luna had the same blood type. I wondered if they would become the next blood bags. Luna's solemn expression interrupted my thoughts. Don't worry about them anymore. I feel like we're being watched. She showed me her phone. An app was blinking. Someone was trying to monitor our phones. I felt uneasy. It seemed Lily had exposed us. The paranoid Tycoon would surely suspect both of us. In his eyes, we were nothing but ants. Better to kill 1,000 innocents than let one guilty person escape. Should we call the police? But there's no evidence, everything is just speculation. Luna anxiously paced back and forth, trying to think of a solution. Then my phone rang again urgently. Is this Mr. Howe? My boss invites you to your cousin's wedding. No need. We've cut ties, we're not close. Attending the wedding isn't necessary. The caller chuckled softly, saying nothing more. Immediately after, my cousin's number unexpectedly called. Cousin Howe, help me one last time. Please come to my wedding. This is the final step for me to marry into wealth. I clenched my phone, slightly hesitant. Outside the window, shadowy figures lurked. All right, I agree. The next second, there was a knock on the door. Mr. Howe, please come with us. They only said they were taking me. I signaled Luna to hide well. Immediately after, the door was forced open. A man in black led the way in and sat directly on the sofa. Miss Luna, you'll also come with us. Don't you want to meet the young master? After all, the one who was supposed to marry him was you. The man in black didn't move, but his eyes glanced towards the wardrobe where Luna was hiding. Just as I was about to say something to diffuse the tension, a cold knife was pressed against my back. Mr. Howe, my hand isn't very steady. It's best if you choose your words carefully. After all, your skin is quite delicate, and losing a piece wouldn't be good. Don't hurt him, I'll go with you. The wardrobe was pushed open, and Luna stepped out. We were pushed into the back seat of the car and escorted to the Tycoon's estate. As soon as we entered the living room, we saw Aunt Clara and Uncle Robert there too. As soon as Aunt Clara saw me, she rushed over. Why are you still following us, you little pauper? Even when our family is about to become prosperous, you still cling on. She glanced at me contemptuously, even spitting at me. The man in black immediately blocked me. This is the boss's guest, you'd better behave. My Aunt Clara's face instantly darkened, and she said nothing more, only repeatedly demanding to see my cousin. Not long after, Lily appeared, dressed splendidly, her arm linked with the Tycoon. My father has the same blood type as me. You can experiment on him first. After all, the previous ones were too old, which caused many problems. My father is only 20 years younger than you, so it should be fine. Uncle Robert's eyes widened, still not understanding what was happening. What are you people talking about? Lily stepped forward and ordered the bodyguards to hold Uncle Robert. Dad also wants me to live well, right? Now is the time for you to try a little for me. As soon as she finished speaking, Uncle Robert was dragged away instantly. What the hell are you doing? My Aunt Clara screamed in panic, but no one paid any attention. The Tycoon tapped his foot rhythmically, sitting down in front of us, and removed his glasses, revealing a distorted, inhuman face with veins bulging under his skin and bulging, terrifying eyeballs. My apologies, just sequelae from surgery. You two are intelligent. You must have guessed what kind of surgery it was. His hand lightly brushed Luna's face, finally stopping at her neck. The vitality of youth truly makes an old man like me envious, so I used some tricks to experience youth again. But unfortunately, though the effect is good, the sequelae are also severe. The blood transfusion's effectiveness lasts shorter and shorter. This time, I decided to change my approach, proceeding step by step to allow the body to gradually adapt to the rejuvenation process. After saying this, he took a sip of tea and waved my cousin over. Initially, there was no suitable person. I didn't expect my future daughter-in-law to offer herself up. My Aunt Clara's face turned pale. What was happening before her eyes shattered her entire worldview. Lily, are you even human? Aunt Clara never imagined that for an illusory dream of being a wealthy young mistress, my cousin would dare to harm her own biological father. Don't be agitated, Aunt Clara. She's just contributing to science. Unfortunately, most people don't understand the wonders of science, only getting stuck in the cycle of morality. Of course, most people also don't have the capital I do. The Tycoon comfortably admired my Aunt Clara's indignant face, then slowly turned towards us, slowly approaching. There are many intelligent people in the world, but too intelligent turns into foolishness. Mr. Howe, you figured out the truth. You should have kept it to yourself. Why speak it out? My entire body bristled as something cold was pressed against my back. The next second, I felt a chill run down my spine, my skin was cut open, and a stream of liquid blood spread rapidly. The Tycoon caught the blood in his hand, brought it to his mouth, and savored it mesmerized. So fragrant, the smell of blood is so sweet. Blood represents vitality, he muttered, interpreting with a crazed look. The pain spread throughout my body, but I dared not move. Luna covered her mouth, her face anxious. Just then, someone ran over. "Sir, the surgery is ready. We can begin now." The Tycoon flashed a ferocious smile. "Excellent. In 2 hours, I will greet this world with a new face. Science is about to take another step forward thanks to me. Too bad you will never see it," he whispered, then unexpectedly patted my shoulder. The moment I felt the knife withdraw from my back, I immediately thrust my elbow back hard, hitting the bodyguard who was about to stab me. Then I spun around and tightly squeezed the Tycoon's neck. It was only then that I realized a jacket Luna's was draped over the bodyguard's head. No wonder I could so easily hit a well-trained bodyguard. "Nobody move. Let us go, or I'll kill him." I tightened my grip on the Tycoon's neck, but his voice remained calm and unchanged. "If I die, you won't live either. I advise you to let me go immediately. Kneel and apologize, and I might leave you with an intact corpse." "Shut up." I squeezed his neck while slowly retreating towards the stairs. Unexpectedly, just as I was about to reach them, a dark figure suddenly lunged, kicking me directly in the back. I staggered. The Tycoon seized the opportunity to break free from my grasp and fled. "Catch him?" A group of people immediately surrounded me. I quickly pushed open the door of an adjacent room, slipped in, and locked the door. Turning around, I was instantly stunned by the sight in the room. This was like an operating room, but there was a naked man sitting there. "Are you also a new bride prepared for me?" No, the person before me looked more like a living corpse than a human. His skin was pale green, veins clearly visible, his entire body skeletal like a dried skeleton, sitting silently in a wheelchair. "Scared?" he said, licking his lips. I instinctively looked towards the door. The bodyguards were looking for the room key. "Scared of what?" "Just having all the blood drained from my body. On the outside, I look like a corpse, but I'm still human." As he spoke, he slowly raised his hand and used a sharp fingernail to cut a vein, but there was nothing inside. A long time passed before a little red blood oozed out. "When your blood runs out, you will become like me. Then we will be kin. But I won't despise you, nor will I look at you with such fear." He slowly pushed his wheelchair closer, and my scalp tingled. Survival instinct screamed in my head, "Run!" But outside was also full of people who wanted to kill me. "I haven't seen anyone else for too long. Can you lean closer so I can see you clearly?" he said in a sad voice, lowering his head to reveal his emaciated face from an angle. Perhaps he had been very handsome before, but now I had no mind to admire him. "No, I'm escaping, don't you see?" I kicked him back towards the window and locked the wheelchair, preventing him from moving. The banging on the door began. The door was about to be broken down. I detached a nearby plant frame, pulling out an iron bar that fit my hand. As the bodyguard rushed in, I swung the iron bar straight, striking his head hard. Blood splattered like fireworks. The scene was utterly shocking. My cousin was still supporting the Tycoon, frantically commanding the bodyguards. I couldn't help but marvel at her stubbornness, then shouted at Luna, "If you don't act now, just wait for the police to arrive." As soon as I finished speaking, Luna immediately grabbed some items and rushed over. We were surrounded, passively taking blows. Just as a chop was about to descend, "Police here!" a familiar voice rang out. We finally breathed a sigh of relief, collapsing exhaustedly onto the ground. Thanks to police intervention, the situation was quickly brought under control. The Tycoon and his bodyguards were arrested, squatting on the ground, clutching their heads. The illegitimate son, Ethan Gu, was also brought out, but as a victim, he wasn't handcuffed. My cousin trembled in a corner. Ethan Gu took advantage of the chaos, silently sliding his wheelchair closer to her. "You're my new bride, right?" "V. Yes, I am," she nodded tremblingly. Ethan Gu smiled. "Don't be afraid. If you're my bride, I'll do my best to save you. This doesn't concern you much." My cousin's eyes welled up with tears, and she tightly grasped his hand. All those dominant CEO plot lines from old novels suddenly rushed into her head, making her believe she was the destined female lead. "Can you lean closer so I can see you clearly? I haven't seen anyone else for so long." She blushed, shyly leaning closer. The very next second, a desperate scream ripped through the air. Everyone was stunned, looking at the two of them. Ethan Gu had bitten hard into my cousin's throat. Blood splattered onto both of them, hot and steaming. He continuously swallowed. Only when the police rushed over to separate them did he finally release his mouth, smiling. This blood is truly miraculous. Why doesn't it work on me? Didn't they say all you need is someone else's blood to rejuvenate? I've had it, so why am I still like this? Ah, I understand. It's because the blood I've obtained isn't enough. His eyes were bloodshot, scanning everyone in the room like a beast stalking its prey. Everyone became potential prey. Aunt Clara and Uncle Robert, who had just been rescued, immediately gasped, trembling as they looked at the arrested illegitimate son. If the police hadn't come today, those people wouldn't have fared any better. My cousin was rushed into the ambulance in critical condition, but Ethan Goosebite had used all his strength. He had severed her carotid artery. She died before she could even be put in the car. Before dying, he looked at me and mumbled, "I want to start over." I have to start over. Ethan Goo had gone completely insane. Oh, that illegitimate son. I just hummed, saying nothing more. Who wouldn't go mad after being locked up for 20 years like a living blood bag? Moreover, Ethan Goo had been targeted by his biological father since he was 12, beginning a horrifying series of experiments. His body and mind had long been tormented to the point of near collapse. That Tycoon often propagated pseudoscientific theories about immortality. The police had been watching him for a long time, but he was too cunning and only dealt within the wealthy elite, making it difficult to find solid evidence. This time, because it was time for a blood change and he hadn't found a suitable target, he hastily offered a reward and acted recklessly. I unexpectedly got caught up in it and accidentally ruined everything right at the scene. That day, when the police searched the villa's basement, they found 10 dried skeletons, bodies completely drained of blood, some not even 15 years old. This evidence was enough for the Tycoon and those behind him to pay with their lives. "How did you know I was a police officer?" Luna suddenly asked. She came to me in truth only because she suspected me. That was a statement, not a question. All those previous life dreams were lies. If Luna could really dream of the past, why would she bother coming to find me and get caught with me like that? She could only tell me Ethan Goo's room number because the police investigation had led them there. And even if there truly was such a dream, coming to an unarmed person like me for help was utterly illogical. Anyone who's learned anything knows that if you're in danger, you should seek the police. And this matter was clearly too suspicious. For example, her tolerating my cousin becoming a living blood bag was overly reckless. When Luna investigated this case, 2 police officers had died in accidents. Do you still remember? The Tycoon's case has been investigated for a long time, but the forces behind him are too powerful. It's always been obstructed. The most recent time was over 10 years ago when my parents obtained evidence, but that very afternoon, they died in a car accident right on the spot. The evidence also disappeared. I only learned about this from Luna's father. He was the head of the criminal investigation team. Afterwards, my file was closed, my name changed, my residence moved, and I was sent to live with my aunt and uncle. I grew up as a normal child, but I vaguely pieced together details about the Tycoon's case from my parents' belongings. In my previous life, I tried every way to stop my cousin from getting involved in this, because I owed that truth. I didn't want the people around me to leave me because of that devil, so I hid all the secrets, forcing my cousin to give up. Even during medical checkups, I forbade her from having blood drawn. Later, a few people were still taken by the Tycoon, but it didn't cause a stir. It wasn't until Luna graduated from the police academy that she volunteered to pose as a student and go undercover. She uncovered the entire truth, but also became a link in the villain's plan. The last time I saw her, the Tycoon had been arrested, but she had become a new skeleton. At that time, she lowered her head and asked me, if all the blood in a person's body is someone else's, is that person still themselves? A hero is still a hero. Even if covered in mud, their nature does not change. The day my cousin killed me, I suddenly realized that my actions had inadvertently changed everyone's fate. If I had just let my cousin follow that plan and proactively contacted the police, at least another Luna wouldn't have had to sacrifice herself. So, after being reborn, I deliberately encouraged my cousin to approach the Tycoon. And as soon as I woke up, I secretly reported it to the police. The police immediately pushed Luna out as a decoy. They wanted us to play the role of smart but somewhat naive young people. Another of Luna's tasks was to monitor me. I completely understood this. because my knowing too much was illogical from the very beginning. When the matter was first exposed, the Tycoon, as predicted, came looking for me. He thought he had everything under control, so he didn't pay attention to me and didn't clean up the mess in time. And in the end, he was arrested by the police with ample evidence. Thank you for your cooperation. You are not under any suspicion. Luna's father personally picked me up. He recognized me immediately. Your parents in heaven must be very proud of you. I don't know. After all, I contributed to the downfall of my cousin's entire family. That day, when Ethan Gu approached my cousin, I saw clearly, but I didn't intervene. Now he lies in the morgue, and my aunt and uncle are long since broken, because the loan sharks came to their door. Interest compounded interest, reaching several million yuan. They came to beg me for help several times, but I had sold the house long ago. The house was empty, and I vanished from their world. Later, I heard they had their legs broken by debt collectors. In some alley, 2 more beggars appeared. After graduating with a master's degree, I moved to a coastal city that I dearly loved. I remember when I was little, my mother often said she wanted to take me to see the sea, but then she kept working overtime and overtime. In the end, that dream was never realized. Now I have the chance. I will bring photos of my parents to see the sea, a place our whole family once dreamed of going, as if they had never left me.